Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Begin our service on page 46 with Ma Tovu.
Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma'ani berov chastecha avo beitecha eshtachave el heichal kodshecha be'yiratecha. Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
We turn to page 51 in the middle. These are the things that have no measure, and please join me. Leaving the corners of the field for the poor, the offering of the first fruits to the priest, making pilgrimage to Jerusalem, acts of kindness and the study of Torah. These are the things, the bounty which one consumes in this world, while the principle remains for us in the world to come, and they are honoring father and mother, acts of kindness, supporting the house of study, providing hospitality, visiting the sick, rejoicing with bride and groom, burying the dead, praying with intent, and bringing peace between two people. And the study of Torah is equal to them all. We continue on the next page with Elohai Neshama.
Ata yitzareta, ata nefachta bi, me'ata mishamra bekirbi. Elohai, Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi tehorahi.
We continue with Nasim B'Kol Yom, our prayers for daily miracles, on page 53.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has given the mind the understanding to distinguish between day and night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who has made me to be free. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives sight to those who cannot see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who clothes the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who frees the captives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who raises those bowed low. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who spreads out the earth over the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who provides for all my needs. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who makes firm each person's steps. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who girds Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who crowns Israel with splendor. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who removes sleep from my eyes and slumber from my eyelids.
It's our great pleasure to welcome Benji's Bubby to the Bima Barbara, who will present him with his tallis.
Benji, this is about legacy, and you are the sixth generation of wrestlers, American Jews in the United States, mid-1800s. You are the fifth generation of Sokols in late 1800s. And there's a whole genetics on the other side who maybe one day we'll meet. But this talit is a gift from a friend of mine in Alexander City, Alabama, and we are proud that you share this legacy. And with all of us and all of those who are our friends who could not be here, who are watching online.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitateh v'tzitzi.
Amen.
We turn to page 62 with our Chetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, וילמד דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן מעלמה, ואמרו Amen.
And for those who are able, we rise together, bottom of page 63.
Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. ברכו את אדוני, הבאים
page 64.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvrei choshech, useh shalom uvrei et hakol, hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha b'rachamim, uvtuve mechadesh b'chol yom tamid, ma'aseh v'reshit. Ma rabu ma'aseha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, malah ha'aretz kinyanecha, titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'rei or she'asita yifarucha sela, or hadash al tznion ta'ir, v'nizkeh kulanu mehera le'eru, Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha-me'erot. We turn to page 66. We read responsibly. Adonai our God, you have loved us with an abundant love. You have taken bountiful care of us, sovereign source of strength, because our ancestors trusted you. You taught them the laws of life. Be kind to us and teach us.
O
O merciful one, have mercy upon us and incline our hearts to understand, to comprehend, to hear, to learn, to teach,
and observe and uphold all the words of your Torah's teachings with love.
Enlighten our eyes with your Torah. Let our hearts cling to your commandments, and unite us to love and revere your name.
Then we will never be put to shame. We have placed our trust in your great, holy, and awesome name.
We will rejoice in your deliverance from the four corners of the earth. Bring us upright to our land in peace, for you are the author of every deliverance. In truth, you have chosen us and brought us close to your powerful name, to thank you and to lovingly proclaim your unity.
Blessed are you, Adonai, who has chosen your people Israel in love.
Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemla Gedola Mitera Chamalta Aleinu Ahava Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemla Gedola Mitera Chamalta Aleinu Ba'avur Avoteinu Me'imoteinu Shematchu B'cha Batilamtei Chukei Chaim Kein Techonenu Utelamteinu Kein Techonenu Utelamteinu Ahava Rabba Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemla והאר עינינו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, ולא נבוש ולא ניכלם ולא ניכשל לעולם ועד, כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא בטחנו, נגילה ונשמחה, נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתן לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. I shall love Adonai my God with all my mind, with all my strength, and with all my being. I will set these words which you command me to this day upon my heart. I will teach them faithfully to my children. I will speak of them in my home and on my way, when I lie down and when I rise up. I will bind them as a sign upon my hand. I will let them be a symbol before my eyes. I will inscribe them on the doorposts of my house and on my gates. I will be mindful of all your mitzvot and do them. So shall I consecrate myself to my God. You, Adonai, are my God, who led me out of Egypt to be my God. You, Adonai, are my God. Leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Eloheihem. Ani Adonai Eloheihem asher hotzei atem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Eloheihem. We read responsively on page 71. True and upstanding, beloved and precious, awesome and powerful, good and beautiful is this eternal word for us.
In truth, the God of the universe is our ruler. The rock of Jacob is our protecting shield. Throughout the generations, God is established, and God's name is established. God's words endure forever, faithful and precious through all eternity.
You have redeemed us from Egypt, eternal our God, and rescued us from the house of bondage.
For this, your beloved people praise you, exalted you as God, singing songs of praise, blessing, and thanks.
The sovereign, ever-living God is exalted and awesome, humbles the proud, raises the lowly, frees the captive, rescues the humble, helps the poor, and answers the people when they cry out.
All blessings to God Most High. Moses and all Israel sang together the song of rejoicing. Nichamocha on the next page.
כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. שירה חדשה שימחו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד. יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די, יאי די 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 די. צור ישראל קומה קומה בעזרת ישראל ופתחי נאומך יהודה בישראל גואלנו 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 אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
For those who are able, we rise together for Tefillah, page 74.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה זה ואמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מדיר שמך בכל הארץ ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי אני אדוני אלוהיכם ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
In every generation we will tell your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, will never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת מקדשי מקדשי שבי שבת כולם יספרו ויתענגו מטובך שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת ובשביעי רציתם בו וקידשתו שבת חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת זכר למעשה בראשית שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וגורי עונג שבת ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת בקורי עונג שבת.
We read responsibly on page 80. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest be pleasing to you. Make us holy through your mitzvot and grant a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. With the love and desire, bestow upon us your holy Sabbath. May Israel who rests on Shabbat sanctify your name. Blessed are you, Adonai, who makes the Sabbath day holy. Desire, Adonai, our God, your people Israel, and with love accept our prayers. And may the worship of Israel, your people, always be pleasing in your sight. O God, who is close to all who cry out, turn your face toward your servants and be gracious unto us. Pour out your Spirit upon us, and with mercy let our eyes behold your return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, who restored the divine presence to Zion. We continue responsibly on page 83. We are grateful that you are forever our God and God of our ancestors, that you are the rock of our life and our protector and our Savior.
We thank you and sing your praises for our lives which are in your hands, and for our souls which are in your care, and for the miracles that are with us each day, and for the wondrous gifts that you bestow at all times, evening, morning, midday.
Kind one whose mercies never fail, merciful one whose binding love will never end, you have forever been our hope,
Our Savior and protector. Let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose essence is goodness and who is worthy of our gratitude.
Grant peace, goodness, and blessing, grace, loving kindness, and mercy to us and to all your people Israel. Bless us, source of life, each day of us with the light of your presence. For by the light you have given us, eternal our God, a living Torah, an unbreakable love, justice, blessing, and mercy, life and peace. May be worthy in your sight to bless your people Israel, now and always with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with shalom.
Page 84. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uveracha, chen v'chesed berachamim aleinu me'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom, sim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai, hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
We take a few moments for silent prayer.
shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael me'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Good morning and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
My Torah portion for this Shabbat is called Parashat Ra'eh. It discusses the laws of kashrut, which is kosher. In Hebrew, kosher means fitting. When we think of kosher, we mainly think of the food we eat. The Torah tells us that certain foods are abhorrent, not because they're naturally unfit to humans, but because they're prohibited to the people of Israel. Tradition considers the dietary laws to have two main functions: to separate and distinguish Israel from other nations and to sanctify it through special discipline. The Torah specifically tells us what animals are prohibited to eat and those permitted. The permitted animals are those with true hooves, with the exception of a few. Animals that live in water and that have fins and scales are fitting to eat. Moreover, any pure bird, but not predators, are fitting. Keeping kosher forbids the eating of anything that has died naturally, but it does say that you may give it to the stranger or sell it to a foreigner. This speaks of the meaning of emphatic laws found in sacred Jewish literature. The Torah tells us, "For you are a people consecrated to the eternal God." Kosher also prohibits eating milk and meat products together, which was probably enforced by the 4th century CE. Today, many Jewish people do not feel the need to keep kosher in a dietary way. This makes me think of how we can make our lives kosher. What can we do to make our lives more fit for God? In Judaism, we are commanded to perform mitzvot. These are acts that help others or make the world a better place. I try daily to do mitzvot. I hold the door for people, pick up things that people have dropped. I take my neighbor's trash cans back up to their house after the garbage pickup. There are large acts and small acts, but each one spreads kindness. In what ways can you help someone in our world every day? As Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel once said, "Few are guilty, but all are responsible." What this quote means to me is that everyone is responsible for their actions. So when you do a mitzvah, no matter how big or small it is, take pride in it. When you hold the door open for someone, or help set the table, or do laundry, you should be proud of it because you made life in that moment easier for the person you helped. Kindness is a circle. Once you help someone, then they may do a mitzvah for someone else, and the line will keep going, like wrinkles in water. Also, you do not know what someone is going through, so doing a mitzvah could brighten their day and make them feel better, and can even save a life or convince them not to do something that could harm themselves or others. Also, to make our lives more fit is to remember not all stereotypes are true, and that we can all get to know each other even though we may not have the same ideas. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines a stereotype as a standardized mental picture that is held in common by members of a group and that represents an oversimplified opinion, prejudiced attitude, or uncritical judgment. Almost everything in our world has a stereotype. However, not all stereotypes are true. Let me tell you a story about an African American man who met the Grand Dragon of the KKK and was even invited to a rally. Daryl Davis is a musician who tours all around America. When he was younger, at about the age of 10, in 1968, he and his family moved to a suburb of Boston, Massachusetts, and he joined the Cub Scouts. He was one of 2 black children in the entire area. They had a march from Lexington to Concord, and it was to commemorate the ride of Paul Revere. Somewhere along the route, he began to get hit by rocks, bottles, and soda cans. It was the first time that he had ever experienced something like that. He was the only scout that was getting hit until all the other scout leaders came rushing over and huddled over him and escorted him to safety. When he got home, his parents sat him down and explained racism to him. He had no idea what they were talking about. He couldn't understand how someone who didn't even know him, who never talked to him, wanted to inflict pain on him just because of the color of his skin. He formed a question in his mind: how can you hate me when you don't even know me? So when Daryl got older, he contacted the leader of the KKK in Baltimore, Maryland, Roger Kelly. Roger and his bodyguard went to meet Daryl in a motel. They did not agree on most topics. They met and spoke on several occasions. Soon, Roger felt comfortable enough to meet Daryl without his bodyguard. Roger eventually asked Daryl to go with him to one of the Klan meetings, and Daryl did. CNN reached out and made a story on it. Eventually, because of the friendship they developed, Roger left the KKK. And if you want to hear the full story told by Daryl, it's a TED Talk. The title is Why I, as a Black Man, Attend KKK Rallies. Reading this story really spoke to me in thinking about my Torah portion. Daryl Davis worked so hard to develop a relationship and teach Roger Kelly about his people and changed his views and life. This is a wonderful example of one person helping to make the world more fit for God. I recognize that throughout its long history, Reformed Judaism did not emphasize a strict observance of dietary pressures, but that's okay. The question for us is, what do we need to do as Reformed Jews to make our lives fitting for God? Some might decide to keep a kosher diet, and that's great. We need to do what we need to be more fit. Speaking up, fighting against injustices. Being a mensch means to be a fitting person. And the thing that I learned most about my Torah portion, and I'll take this with me throughout the rest of my life, is that whenever I think of kosher foods, I'm also mindful of the responsibilities of being a fitting person. In order to make our lives more fit for God, we must be conscious of how we take care of our bodies and how we treat others and what we do to make our world a better place. Shabbat Shalom.
We now move to Seder Kriyas Torah, the reading of the Torah. And for the honor of opening the Ark, we welcome to the Bima Ella Sokol and Lawson Sokol and Lador Vador from generation to generation. We welcome Barbara Sokol, Steve Sokol, and Miriam Sokol. We rise together.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kemasecha malechutecha malechut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai meloch leolam va'ed לעמו ייתן. אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אף הרחמים היטיבה ברצונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים. כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא אדון עולמים. כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
You have some tissues down there, Rabbi.
I'm going to get you covered.
Get my tissues. I'm going to try real hard.
Okay, come a little closer.
Okay. Benji, to say that I'm proud of you is an understatement. From the moment I found out I was pregnant with you, I promised God that I would dedicate you to Him. When you were an infant, I brought you to services every Friday night. You were the temple baby. And you grew up, as you grew up, you became more involved in services. You would read and sing along with joy. You were so engaging. People used to call you Little Rabbi. And look at you now. Your kindness, your quest for knowledge, your passion for social justice, your compassion for other human beings and animals is amazing. I'm blown away by the person that you are and the man that you're becoming. As I watch you read from the Torah, I'm overwhelmed with emotion. May you continue to study Torah and be proud of your Jewish heritage. I pray that as you grow and develop, that you continue to make decisions that are good and just, that you honor yourself and those around you, that you live your life in a way that is pleasing to God, that you continue to find ways to make our world a better place. I love you so much, and I'll always be your biggest supporter. I'm so proud of you. On this side, since you're going to be walking.
Face the center. Face the center. You got it? Face the congregation. Here we go. Get right in there. Go.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlu Adonai iti, uneromema shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula vehagebura vehatiferet vehanetzach vehahod. Ki chol bashamayim ubaretz, ki chol bashamayim ubaretz, lecha Adonai hamamlacha vehamitnaseh lechol rosh.
Again, our Torah portion for this Shabbat, Parshat Re'eh, and for those who want to follow along in the Torah service, in our Plout commentary in the back, Parshat Re'eh, beginning with Deuteronomy chapter 11, 36.
Ya'amdu Barbara Steve Sokol Ali LaTorah. We invite Barbara and Steve Sokol up for the first Aliyah over the Torah. Oh, I apologize. Sorry. Devin Opper, Levi Opper, Slade Sokol, and Ellis Sokol. Ya'amdu Aliyah Torah. I apologize. Give me 1 second. Got a little tangle.
Baruch et Adonai Hamrach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Leolam. Oh wait. Enu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. Enatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Re'ei Anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha uklala et habracha asher tishmeu el mitzvot Adonai Elohechem asher Anochi metzaveh etchem hayom vehaklala אם לא תשמעו אל מצוות אדוני אלוהיכם וסרתם מן הדרך אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם היום ללכת אחרי אלוהים אחרים אשר לא ידעתם.
Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
We invite Kate Sokol and Lawson Sokol for the second Aliyah. And Ellis. I apologize. Ya Amdul Aliyah la Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. V'haya ki v'yacha Adonai Elohecha el haaretz asher ata v'shama l'rishta v'natata et habracha al har grizim v'et haklala al har eval הלוהמה בעבר הירדן, אחרי דרך מבוא השמש, בארץ הכנעני היושב בערבה, מול הגלגל אצל אלוני מורה. כי אתם עוברים את הירדן, לבוא לרשת את הארץ, אשר אדוני אלוהיכם נותן לכם, וירשתם אותה וישבתם בה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
We invite Rachel Opper, Jared Sokol, Harry Sokol, and Miriam Sokol to the Torah. Ya Amdul Aliyah la Torah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ushmatem la'asod et kol hakukim vet hamishpatim asher anochi noten lifnehem hayom elech hakukim vehamishpatim asher tishmerun la'asod ba'aretz asher Natan Adonai Elohei Avodecha Lecha L'rishta Kol Hayamim Asher Atem Hayim Al Ha'adama Abe Te'abedun Et Kol HaMekomot Asher Avdu Sham Otam Et Eloheihem Al haharim haramim ve'al hagevaot v'tchachat kol eitz ra'anan v'nitatztem et mizbechotam v'shibartem et matzevotam ba'asherehem tisrefu va'esh ufilei elohehem tigadeun v'idbatem et shemam Mihamakol hahu.
Baruch Atah Asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'kotenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. So finally, we invite Benji himself to the Torah to bless the Torah. Ya'amod Binyamin Brocha ben Miriam la'aliyah la'Torah habar mitzvah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvara.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Lo ta'asun kain l'Adonai Eloheihem, ki imel hamakom asher yivhar Adonai Eloheihem mikol shivteihem lathum et shemo sham leshichno tigreshu uvata shama vahavetem shama olotehem vivivheichem ve'et matharotehem ve'et rumatietem v'nidrehem v'nidvotehem uvkorot becharechem v'thonechem. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu Torat, asher natan lanu Torat emet, vayeh olam natan b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Shekach.
As the Torah is within our presence, we take time to think of those in our community who are in need of healing in body and spirit. On this Shabbat, we especially think of Linda Applebaum, Cindy Silverman Bailey, Sophia Berry, Paul Bebenek, Callie Bonds, Harold Seitling, Deborah Chagua, Karen Edwards, Ruth Graffin Fromstein, Edward Goldberg, Barbara Goldstone, Elaine Gross, Josie Hatfeld, Evelyn Held, Lyons Hyman, Donald Ameda Himmel, Norma and Joel Jacobson, Corey Kessler, Laney Klein, Bart Kolber, Jerry Lapidus, Wayne Lewis, Susie Ovson, David Siegel, Liz Live, Chrissy St. Charles, Brenda Weinstein, Jesse Weisberg, Emily Weidman, and Elisa Rosemore Whitehead. For those here with us this morning, if you are thinking of a loved one and a friend and wish to share a name out loud, please rise, and as my eyes meet yours, you're more than welcome to call that name. For those names mentioned out loud and for those names that are still in our hearts, Armi Shaberach.
Strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
For the honor of lifting and dressing the Torah, we welcome Benji's uncles, Harry, Mark, and Jared. And I hope one of the three, someone is right-handed, and we rise together.
Sota Torah shirtza Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. This morning, our Haftarah portion, which is a section from the prophets that is connected to the Torah portion of the week, is from Isaiah, but late in the book of Isaiah, which means that it's from what is called Deutero-Isaiah, maybe a second author in that book. And the prophet is telling us of a trust, that we should have trust in God, who will surely restore us to the land of Israel, because at the time everybody was exiled from the land.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar bin ve'im tovim v'ratza v'divreihem ha'ne'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'vinviei ha'emet v'tzedek.
Amen.
Aniyah so'ara lo nuchama hine anochi Marbis bapuch avanaich visatich basapirim ufsamti kachod shomshotaich ufsharai leavnei ektach vehogulech leavnei chefetz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zur kol haolamim, zadik bechol hadarot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'osei, hamdaber u'kayim, shechol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al Torah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im V'yom ha'Shabbat hazed shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdushav limnucha lechavod u'tifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mbrachim otam yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Take a seat.
Yashikoach.
We rise once more as we return the Torah back to the ark.
Yehallelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado. Hodo al eretz meshamayim, bayarem keren le'amo. Lechol chasidav libnei Yisrael am gerobo. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Eitz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomechei ha'me'ushal teracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem.
Leave your binder. You don't need it for this first time. Benji, first on behalf of the clergy, the staff, and our board of directors, and our board of directors at the Grafton Endowment Fund, let us say a Yashikoach and Mazel Tov on such a beautiful job teaching us Torah. And with that, we have some gifts for you. Our sisterhood and brotherhood have beautiful Shabbat candlesticks, and may these candlesticks illumine your life wherever you may be. And also inside, there's some certificates to study time in our indigenous homeland, the state of Israel, through NIFTY, another gift certificate from our Grafton Endowment Fund, and top of that is your certificate of bar mitzvah, and frame it, because you did such a good job. Before we take you before the ark, there's something I want to say publicly to you in front of the congregation, is that your Torah portion, Parshat Re'eh, spoke about being a fitting people. And as I talked about last night, where we are in the book of Deuteronomy, these are Moses' final homilies, sermons to the people of Israel, just to make sure that they know what to do when they enter into Eretz Yisrael. And as we taught a couple weeks ago, this is where we learned about the Shema and the foundation of the oneness of God. And here we are in the fourth Parshiot in Devarim, where Moses is instructing the people of Israel to be a fitting and proper group when they enter into Eretz Yisrael. He still has uncertainty whether or not they will take to heed the guidance of the mitzvot. But there's one thing certain today, is that you are absolutely such a fitting young man. And I want to say this especially in front of your grandmother and your mother, that Judaism is so important to you. Generationally, it's important to you here in Birmingham, and as Faye Levin is watching, especially in Alex City. I'm becoming more of a native. It's not Alexander City, it's Alex City. In Alex City, I'm saying it right. So the question is what do we do next as a fitting young man? We live in a society where there's a lot of unfit. It's our job not to tell them how to live, but it's our job to lead by example, by showing your goodness, your menschlichkeit to people, whether it's being mitzvot of opening the door or feeding the homeless, is that we change the world by our actions. We don't change the world by judging people's actions. But I have total confidence in you because who you are and who you represent to this community, and Hal V'chomer, all the more so to your wonderful family. So this is my public charge to you. Continue to be a fitting young man, and I am so confident that other people will be fitting too. And I ask the congregation to rise once more as we take Benji before the ark for some private blessing.
To a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. Place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lechi lach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
We remain standing to page 99 as we rise. We keep on standing for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני
We remember these, our beloved, not to be sad, but to remember. Our sorrow that accompanies their death does not diminish the joyful gifts that with their lives. We remember their kindness, their nobility, and especially their goodness. They taught us to live, to love, inspiring us to the grace of their best selves. They've showered us with love and with light as we remember them in our Kaddish. We bring back their light to raise up our heavy hearts. On the Shabbat, we recall the Yortzites of Abe Abrams, Julian Adler, Ida Baccarat Allenberg, Louis Allenberg, Sloan Kelman, Lazar Kashmiriu, Dorothy Weinstein Dubowski, Patty Glickman, Janet Goldfarb, Betty Golding, Bertie Goldstein, Mary Frances Hastings, Emil Carl Hess, Mary Spence Eisenberg, David H. Jaffe, Dr. Noah Wayne Jaffe, Jordan Kirschberg, Harry M. Cohn, Milton Kravitsky, Ida B. Levin, Morris Marlowe, Josephine McWaters Alexander, J. George Mitnick, Morris Munsky, Lorenzo Music, Martin Harold Nelson, Ben N. Perlman, Eli Perlman, Isaac Piatzik, David Reutman, Myron C. Rosenthal, Sylvia Rutstein, Irvin Shapiro, Esther Siegel, Stanley T. Siegel, Abram Mitchell Skyer, Yetta Glazer Sokol, Sally Tanner, Raymond L. Webb, Celia Weinstein, and Alexander Zeldin, and our heartfelt condolences in the recent passing of Annette Applebaum Bame, aunt of Kit Roth, Ronald Beasley, friend of Chase Callahan, Wilma Denny, mother of David Denny, Lucine Hagedorn, husband of Jean, Leonard Friend Halpern, husband of Anne, and Becky Barker Seitel, wife and Alan and Benji. You have so beautifully honored the memory of someone so dear to your family, your grandfather, Eddie Sokol. May his memory and all their memories forever be a blessing. We rise together for Martyr's Kaddish on page 103 in our prayer book. Yikadal, Bikadash, Shmei Rabbah, Bioma Divrach, Rote, Vamlich Machute, Bechayachon, of Yomechon, Uvkayet, called Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalah, Wizman, Kariv, Yamru.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabbah, Mivarach, Yalam, Olamei Almaya, Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vitba'ar, Vitromam, Vitnaseh, Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shmei Kucha,
Brichu.
Le'ela min kol birchata b'shirata, tushbechata b'nechamata, damin ram yilman v'yimru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen. Osei shalom b'yimromav, huya asei shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'yimru, amen.
Osei shalom b'yimromav, huya asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, me'imeru, amen.
Before we conclude with Ein Keloheinu, this is what I like to do. We're going to bring back Benji to the bima, and we want to invite up all the kids, all the friends. Please wear your mask in light of the corona. Spread out a little bit, but we want to come and celebrate Benji. So come here on the bima. I promise we're not going to make you lead any prayers or do something in Hebrew and Aramaic. All right, so come on up, and we're confident we can do this safely. So come on up, Benji, right here. And Mom, come on up too, because you're going to be doing Hamotzi. That means you, Miriam.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadoneinu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, mich Eloheinu, mich Adoneinu, mich Emalkeinu, mich Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
I can take that second sip of last night. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I have it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And I just want to make one last announcement that everyone here this morning is welcome for the Kiddush lunch. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.